Okay, we're going to go through our 6-month maintenance checklist. This would be typical fall and springtime maintenance. First thing we want to do is check all the air filters on the intakes. This would apply to the radiator room and also the ventilation in the generator room. So you pull the air filter elements out one at a time, and you need to check the side of the filter that faces towards the outside. So in this case, it's going to be the bottom side of the filter. We want to make sure that it's clear. If it's clogged with dust or bugs, then it needs to be replaced. So we check the underside of the filter. Okay, this one in this case is clear, so it's good. If it was clogged, we get a new filter. When you replace it, you make sure you place it with the arrow pointing in the direction of the airflow, so pointing in towards the room. So there's 4 air filters in this one, so you'd pull all 4 air filters, check them all, replace as needed, put them back in. Now you might have to do this procedure more often if you have a very dusty environment during the summer or a lot of bugs. Sometimes a heavy bug crop will clog these filters too. As part of the 6-month maintenance, we also need to go through the plant, clean all the light fixtures. So on the fluorescent fixtures, we need to wipe down the lenses. On the emergency lights, we want to just wipe off the bulbs, the face of the bulbs. And also on the ceiling paddle fans, we want to wipe down all the blades, keep them clean so they don't get imbalanced. As part of the 6-month maintenance inspection, we want to go through and vent the air off of any of the closed loop piping. So this would include the building heating system and also the heat recovery system if you have one. Now the first thing we do is go into the radiator room and we cycle the pumps on and off. So we'll turn them off for about 10-15 seconds, turn it back on, let it run for a little bit, and then repeat this, say maybe 3 or 4 times. What this does is allows the air to get trapped at the high points. Then we turn it back on. Then we go to the automatic air vents. These are typically located at high points in the piping, so we'll have them at the unit heaters, out in the control room and the parts storage room. We would also have them at the end user building where the waste heat is delivered to. Okay, this is a replacement automatic air vent. It has a float in it that allows air to bleed out of the system. On the top it has a cap. When you install these, the cap needs to be installed loose so that it can bleed air out of the bleed hole. Now these things have a tendency over time to leak when they have a glycol system, so we usually leave the valve closed, and then at our 6-month maintenance interval we'll bleed the air. So you open the valve to it and leave it open for at least an hour, and then come back later in the day and close the valve. If the thing begins to leak over time, you want to shut off the valve, unscrew it, and replace it with a new one. The procedure for testing the glycol is covered on the maintenance disc. You need to check it for, there are corrosion inhibitors in this that protect the metal in the system, and periodically those will get depleted. If it's low, you have to go to the manufacturer of the specific brand of glycol that you have, and they will provide you the recommended quantity of additive to add to the system. Now, on this system we have a heat recovery side, so I just pulled a sample of glycol from the engine loop. This is the ethylene glycol, the pink glycol. We would also want to pull a sample of the clear propylene glycol, test it separately with the appropriate test kit for it, and then get additives from the manufacturer of the propylene glycol as required.